Hello everyone and welcome to the latest Tempo Storm Wild Meta Snapshot breakdown for Descent of Dragons, and the first for the new adventure pack, Galakrond's Awakening. Since the adventure is being released in stages, only a couple of new cards are currently seeing play, but that doesn't mean that nothing's changed in Wild. The Descent of Dragons meta is becoming more refined every day, and it now clearly revolves around a handful of high-powered combo decks. As a result, most control and tempo-based strategies have fallen off in popularity. This is an attacker's metagame, and if you don't have an over-the-top win condition to build towards, you need to hit the board fast and dominate the opponent before they can get a foothold. So which decks give you the best chance of climbing to Legend and beyond? Come join us as we take a closer look at the format's latest developments. As always, be sure to subscribe to the Tempo Storm Hearthstone YouTube channel to stay up to date with our Hearthstone content. Now let's get started. Our Tier 1 decks are setting the pace of the meta and have strong matchups across the board, so if you're not playing one of these decks, you'll need to have a solid plan against them. For this snapshot, Reno Mage remains at the top of Tier 1 as the deck to beat. With the widespread popularity of Open the Waygate as Reno Mage's core win condition, almost all traditional control-style Reno Mages have fallen off. Thanks to the speed of its quest-based win condition and the flexibility of its Highlander package, Reno Mage has a stellar matchup spread across the board. New from Galakrond's Awakening is Licensed Adventurer, a powerful new addition to quest decks in general that helps you establish early board presence while boosting your mana in future turns. Joining Reno Mage in Tier 1, we have a massive update to Even Shaman that's been tearing up the top levels of the Wild ladder. Thanks to Splitting Axe and the Totem buff package, Even Shaman is more capable than ever of building massive boards out of nowhere and playing big threats like Thing from Below and Sea Giant as early as turn 4. Even if you haven't drawn the Splitting Axe combo yet, Even Shaman can still make do with the higher power beaters that the archetype is known for. Even Shaman is capable of building strong boards that are hard for the current range of top decks to counter, giving it a Tier 1 level matchup spread across the board. What about Warlock? Times are still good for Gul'dan, and since Warlock has access to a wide range of over-the-top win conditions and some of the best removal in the game, the class isn't going anywhere anytime soon. In Tier 1, Cube Warlock remains the top Warlock deck, largely thanks to the speed and flexibility of the deck's Egg and Void Caller Death Rattle packages. These allow the deck to make the most out of Plague of Flames and Defile while building either constant pressure with Nerubians and Doom Guards or insurmountable walls with Void Lords. With avenues of attack against both combo and control, Cube Warlock has the potential to win virtually any matchup, securing its spot in Tier 1. Rounding out Tier 1, we have Secret Mage, which remains the gold standard of aggro decks in Descent of Dragons, even though the deck hasn't received any real updates since Saviors of Uldum. The deck remains powerful thanks to its strong early game minions, disruptive secrets, and accessible board clears that give it the ability to dominate other aggro decks while still being able to race combo decks with over-the-top damage. Unfortunately for Secret Mage, the face damage game plan is losing traction in the meta, thanks to the widespread inclusion of Zilliax and Reno Jackson in many combo decks, but Secret Mage's power level is still so high that we expect it to stay relevant in the meta for a long time to come. Moving on to Tier 2, let's take a look at a set of decks that are still having a strong impact on the meta, even if their matchups against Tier 1 are less than perfect. At the top of the heap, we have Mech Hand Buff Paladin, a deck whose capability to build massive boards in the blink of an eye makes it a common sight on the road to Legend. Previously considered Tier 1, Mech Paladin remains a powerful option for ladder just based on its strong mage matchups alone, but Warlock and Shaman have access to removal options that completely invalidate Mech Paladin's game plan. Still, Mech Paladin is a deck that will take a mile if you give it an inch, so you can expect it to remain relevant just based on its power level alone. Speaking of power, Darkest Hour Warlock is a deck that's gaining traction in the meta thanks to the explosive combo of Rafam's Scheme into Bloodbloom and Darkest Hour, which makes a board of high-cost minions that's very hard to remove. To buy time, Darkest Hour features the full spread of Warlock hard removal, as well as the Void Caller into Void Lord package. Darkest Hour is capable of staggering high rolls, but if you don't draw the combo, you're left helpless against aggro and combo alike. With such wide swings in RNG, Darkest Hour falls behind the Tier 1 decks with a more consistent game plan, but much like Mech Paladin, Darkest Hour will easily overwhelm you if you don't have a plan against it. Behind Darkest Hour, we also have Mechathune Warlock. The Mechathune combo is the be-all and end-all of inevitable win conditions, and its presence in the meta alone drives out late-game control decks that have no way to interact with the combo. Mecha'thun has evolved to the point where it's even hard to beat with aggro, thanks to the abundance of wide removal and life gain at Warlock's disposal. In exchange, Mecha'thun struggles against other combo decks since its one-dimensional draw and stall approach has no way to disrupt further OTKs from decks like Reno Quest Mage. Racing is the only option in those matchups, so our featured list opts for a Dollmaster Dorian plus Plot Twist combo over Emperor Tharzan in order to hit its win condition as quickly as possible. Rounding out our tier 2 spotlight, we have Pirate Warrior. Prior to the nerf to Ankar, Pirate Warrior was a force of nature thanks to its blistering speed, but with that nerf and with the format shift to favor combo decks with heavy life gain and hard removal in general, Pirate Warrior has lost a lot of its popularity. Still, Pirate Warrior is yet another deck that can build an overwhelming board and end games quickly, and it's especially adept at punishing awkward draws from decks like Darkest Hour Warlock and Secret Mage, so even if Pirates are not as popular as they were before, don't let this deck drop off your radar. For the past few weeks, the Wild meta has been a fight for supremacy between aggro and combo, and for the time being, combo is winning the fight. In such an environment, the closest thing to a dark horse pick that we can recommend for serious players is a deck we've already identified as tier 1, Even Shaman. The Splitting Axe totem package is adept at building wide boards with considerable health, making it difficult for Warlocks to clear with only one removal spell, and the sheer size of its threats puts the pressure on Highlander decks to find their answers quickly. Against buffed minions, death rattles, and taunts, Devolve is a get-out-of-jail-free card that turns those matchups completely around. Even Shaman is quite underplayed and finds itself on the right side of a wide range of matchups, making it a rising star that's on the top of our watch list. The Wild meta continues to evolve in the wake of Descent of Dragons, and with even more new cards from Galakrond's Awakening on the horizon, the meta is sure to shift even more. Currently, the Wild meta features a wide variety of combo decks fighting for supremacy, with only the strongest aggro decks up to the task of challenging them. Even so, Wild is an ever-changing format, so where the meta will move next is anyone's guess. As always, be sure to check out the full report for all the details, and be sure to subscribe to this channel to stay up to date with our Wild Hearthstone content. Thanks for watching!